Hello, people of Earth, and welcome to another episode of the Just for Giggles podcast. I'm your host, Aubrey Friedrich, and today I figured since, summer's coming to an end and people are going back to school, I'd do a little summer recap. So I wore this nice little lei. I don't know, just for fun. Also, as you might see, I'm rocking a new chair. How do we feel? How do we feel, guys? Nice fuzzy, different shape. That's cool. That's cool. But how are we doing, guys? How are we doing? Are we feeling good? Are we chilling? Like, did we all have a good summer? Are we? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna hop right in. So this wasn't exactly at the start of summer. This is back in April because that's when I don't know. I guess summer festivities began. Me and my older sister Hopeland went to the Dancing with the Stars tour, which was so much fun. We went and saw it in Akron. Let's see, we showed up, we found our seats, and we got there like right when the doors opened. Because I don't know, become familiar with where you're at and everything. And there was like we were up in like the balcony area, and there was really nobody up there. So then we were just chatting it up with one of the ushers for a while, and he was super nice and super cool. Loved him. And the Akron Civic Theater is so beautiful. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like vintagey. Vintage isn't the right word. I don't know. If you've ever been, you know what I'm saying. If not, go look it up because it's stunning in there. The show itself was fantastic for the whole. I don't even remember how long it was, but it was amazing. I loved it. I hope I get to go again next season or whatever. I remember during intermission, we went to go buy merch. I'm repping the merch I bought right now, actually. Um, they said they were going to take a brief little intermission, and we got up to go buy merch. And I kid you not, we had literally like been standing in the line for like 30 seconds, and one of like the staff members was like literally like yelling. Well, she was only like yelling so that everybody could hear her, but she was just saying the merch will still be available at the end of the show. Please go back to your seats if I don't know, so the show can start on time or whatever. And I was like, no, we're locked in. We're getting our merch now. And so we did. And it was great. And it was so much fun. And then we went back to our seats with literally like 5 minutes to spare. Like we were just fine. So that lady was, her point was valid, but we were just fine. Again, show was fantastic. Took some cutie little pictures. And I remember on the drive there, because the whole thing, it was a bit of a drive to get there and back. So the whole thing was making sure, because my sister drove, was making sure she didn't fall asleep or whatever. But on the way there, I fell asleep. I don't remember how long I was asleep for, but as soon as we like entered Akron, I woke back up. I don't know. It's probably the GPS talking that woke me back up. But we found parking really easily when we were there. We talked like the whole way home because we loved it so much. And then, of course, side stories came about and everything. But after the show, we went like to their little tour bus or whatever in the hopes of meeting some of them. And we got to meet Danny and Pasha. They were super cool. Loved them. And we got to meet Alan and his dog Jeff, which is so cool. So cool. I remember the one security guy who was super nice and super cool, by the way. He was like, yeah, Jeff's gonna come out, but y'all have to like stay calm and pretty quiet, otherwise you're gonna like scare him or whatever. Super understandable. Jeff is such a cutie. I love him. And then last but certainly not least, we met the Ezra Sosa. I loved him so much. I mean, don't get me wrong, all of the interactions were like super brief. It was pretty much just like, hi, take a picture, goodbye. That was it. But it was so much fun. We talked to the people in front of us and behind us in line. Plus, it was really cold because it was like mid-April, so most of us were like freezing. But it was so much fun. And we'd ask each other where we were from, favorite parts, blah, blah, blah. All of the sorts. And then a couple days later, celebrated my 19th birthday. Woo! I survived 19 years. Nothing special really happened that day. I went to Cane's with my friend. And then, of course, not of course, this isn't something people just casually do. Went to Cosmoprof and we got pink hair color. And I colored like just like the money pieces of my hair pink, which was so much fun. And I had pink hair for a good majority of the summer. And I loved that. I feel like at some point I'll definitely revisit and maybe do it again. But it was fantastic. The two of us ended up making dinner for my family. We made uh, Alfredo and like a frick, what's it called? Like a pizookie. That's the word, pizookie. It was delicious. 10 out of 10. Great birthday meals. I love Cane's. I love Alfredo. And I love cookies. Yeah. Again, with the pink hair, it was so fun because we just did the money pieces because I, didn't want to like commit so much and then hate it because I didn't want to freak out, of course, because I've been blonde my whole life. And then, because I bought like two different shades of pink because one was like barely pink, plus the shade would have like looked really like it would have washed me out a bit. And I wanted something a little bit darker. And then I got a darker pink, which was really dark, but like the tone of the color was, it like flattered my skin tone really well. So we just like mixed them together and it was great. And then like after it faded, I did it again. But this time I did the whole halo around my hairline and it was a lot darker. A lot darker. It was like almost borderline purple. It was very like magenta coated. And then that faded and I just used the remaining color that I had left. And it was a really pretty shade of pink, magenta, whatever. I loved it. And then, of course, it faded. There's actually still like really faint bits of pink on the underneath of my hair, but can't really see it unless you're per se looking for it. Also, random side story about pink. I saw this TikTok maybe like a month or two ago, month and a half ago, and it was like this girl was like, "This is your sign to like color your hair pink for the summer," and it was just a bunch of pictures of her, and it was like it washes out, blah blah blah. But I went in the comment section. I was like, as a girl who's been like rocking the pink for however long now, I don't regret a thing, and I love it so much. And then like several weeks later, well, maybe not several, maybe like 3 weeks later, somebody replies to my comment and says, two streaks, dot, dot, dot. I'm sorry? Bruh. I can't believe you went out of your way to say that. It made me crash out, but all I could do was like laugh. They didn't hurt my feelings at all because I don't care. Because like all you could see, because like my profile picture had like all you could see was like the money pieces or whatever. But the girl in the TikTok literally just had like a couple streaks on the bottom side of her hair. So like what's the difference? I can't believe you went out of your way to say that. I feel like you've a lot of better things to do than to say something stupid like that. Cyberbullying, oh my gosh, cyberbullying. Ooh, I hate it. Because there was another time on TikTok. I saw this TikTok and it was like, I'm bored. Tell me blah 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 blah. Something, I don't know. And of course I went to the comment section and I dropped my answer. And it was a very great and valid answer for me. And it's fantastic. And I think I have no idea what the stats are of the video now, but around the time when I stopped getting notifications for my comment getting likes, it had like 3,000 likes, and my comment ended up being the top comment with like 700. And everybody was like liking it, and I'd get like responses of people agreeing. And there was one time, like I opened TikTok, and one of the replies was like a whole paragraph, and I was like, "Oh, what's this about?" And it was this person just replying in depth, and I was like, "Whoa, that's a crazy experience." And I think there was one time I was like, I was getting like ready for bed, scrolling on my phone, like the bad chronically online person I am, and I opened TikTok, and I see that somebody um, commented another paragraph, and I was like, oh, just like another person explaining their life story in summary to me. Nope. They came at my throat for my personal experience and my personal response. Like calling me out, making assumptions, being like, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. Nothing I said was harmful, bruh. Nothing I said was harmful. So, like, literally, I read it and I laughed to myself so hard. I was like, bro. And then, of course, I responded to the comment and I was like, hey, so basically what you're saying is completely false. Don't make false assumptions about me. And instead of cyberbullying me, block me. I hope you have a great day with like a heart emoji. And then a little bit later, I don't know if the creator took their comment down or if they blocked me. I don't care. But cyberbullying isn't cool, guys. Don't do it. Why go out of your way and take your personal time to go tear somebody down on the internet just because you don't have to see them face to face? You're a bad person if you do that. Sorry to break it to you. Sorry to break it to you. Anyway, shortly after that, I went and watched my little sister in the school musical. I think they performed it like 4 times, and like the first time was just like a little family night where all of the family of the cast and crew could come and watch it for free. So of course I went. They did Oklahoma, and I'd never seen Oklahoma before, and it was so much fun. I loved it so much. My little sister was great. All of them were great, and then out of the 3 shows that were left, I went and watched it 2 more times. And there were parts of the show that just never got old. And I loved it. Guys, if you ever have the chance to go see Oklahoma, please go do it because it's a great show. Uh, Fantastic. I have no other words. Um, then shortly after that, grad season rolled around. So I went to a bunch of my friends' graduation parties. And as I said in a previous episode, that's when the idea of this podcast really like became a thing. And throughout like the entire summer, it was in development, and now here I am. So that's pretty cool. I had some very fun and interesting experiences at these grad parties I went to. So if any of you graduates that I spent the day with are watching, you already know. You already know. But overall, it was really fun. I love a good social outing, and I take any chance to get up and get ready to do something fun. Sorry, guys, gotta take a sip of water. Delicious. Anyway, and then as grad season was wrapping up, I celebrated 1 year seizure free. Yes, they all chant in unison. Woo! Got together with friends, went to dinner. I go more in depth about that in a previous episode. So go check it out if you haven't already. Shortly after that day though, I went out. This has nothing to do with being 1 year seizure free. What? But I went with one of my friends. Well, she's actually like my cousin, but I don't know if we're second or third cousins. Or there's also like the removed in there. I know our dads are first cousins, so I have no idea. But we went to IHOP together. It was great. I loved it. But I remember the food came out and I got like the cinnamon stack pancakes or something. And they just looked delicious and they smelled great. I swear we spent like a good chunk of time talking about it, and then our server came back up to us and asked how it was, and we just started laughing. I was like, we've been talking too much to even like take a bite out of it yet, because we yapped constantly throughout the entire time we were there. Not to mention when I walked through the doors. Well, when her and I walked through the doors to go into the IHOP, I ran into my dentist. And I had seen the dentist like the week prior. And I thought that was hilarious. Well, there's really nothing funny about that. I don't know. Literally just small world, I guess. Well, we got IHOP. It was delicious. Great experience. And then we went back to her house and spent the day there. And then I don't know. And there's really nothing that relevant. Watch some TV and whatnot. And then we did not know what we were going to eat for dinner that night because we had spent literally all day together. And let's see. My older sister was at work at the bowling alley, and I think we decided we were going to go there because she had been convincing us to go bowling all day. And I was like, bruh, I'm not good at bowling, and I don't really know if I want to pay to bowl. I mean, I don't know. We just didn't. And then we were like, oh, we can just like get food at the bowling alley and hang out with her and like the other people at the bowling alley. And then we eventually like decide that's something we're actually going to do. And then she texts me, hey, my boss is telling me to like close up. And I'm like, dude, are you for real? So then I'm like calling her, like, please don't shut everything down. We just want breadsticks. So I tell her to make some breadsticks. We show up and the breadsticks are ready to go. And then we eat them. They're great. I go home. Great day overall. Great day overall. I spent a lot of time with my cats this summer. Right now, I have 13 cats. 13 cats. They're all like barn cats, so there's not 13 cats just wandering around my house. But one of my cats gave birth when I was actually hanging out with my friend Fairy, Aubrey. Saw her several episodes ago. Uh, because one day she was just like, "Hey, do you guys want to go shopping?" Me and my little sister went with, hung out, blah blah blah. Then we came back to our house, and she just wanted to see the cats, and I mean, who doesn't? And then said cat, whose name is Choco, like she was just wandering around, and like I noticed her tail was like dirty, and I was like, "Girl, what you doing? You got to clean yourself." And then she kept walking around, and we were like, "Oh, she just gave birth." So then we were like looking in the direction that she came walking from, and we could see them. Obviously, we weren't disturbing them or anything. But we were hanging out with the rest of the cats, took some cute pictures with them. It was a great time overall. And I maybe that was when me and Fairy like locked in and became best friends or something. Cuz we had known each other throughout like the entirety of like junior high and high school, I guess. But we were like never close. I mean, we got along and we were friends, but recently we just like locked in, became best friends. Locked in is such a weird phrase, but I don't know. We just randomly got super close, and we've just been hanging out all summer. Woo! Shout out, hey girl. Then we're just gonna continue with stories about her because I was with her all summer, and that's when all fun things happened. I guess July 3rd. She asked if I want to go watch the duck races because during like the 4th of July celebrations in town, they like race a bunch of ducks because there's a canal that runs through our town. I don't know if that has any relevance. They just somehow have little ducks every year and they race them. And I'm like, okay. So I go to leave my house and I'm driving into town. Then it starts raining because there's just like a little. It's just, I don't know, but it was pretty heavy, but it was only like for a little bit. And then I show up to the park where this little event is happening. And then it just like starts pouring. And we're sitting under the tent for a really long time. And I can't even remember if at that point the ducks were racing. I think they were. I have no idea. But then all the duck races were over. And then they like give away the ducks. Not necessarily, because you can like bid per se on whichever duck is going to win. I don't know. I had never been to these like little town celebration of 4th of July festivities, with all of like the food truck. It's kind of just like a mini fair, I guess, with like Ferris wheels and silly goofy rides, just a little festival. You get the idea. I'd never seen these duck races before in my life. But they like raffle them off at the end of the night. She won two ducks. She won two ducks, and her parents weren't even in town. So she just comes home with two ducks. And she let me name them because she had named one of my cats. I don't even know if we ended up naming one of the cats that name that she gave us. Huh. I don't know. But I decided to name them Lynn and Nicole because that's our middle names, which is super fun and festive. But they didn't last very long because her dog ate my duck, and then the other duck, I don't remember what she said happened to it, but it is no longer with us. But we went back to her house, gave it a nice little place to stay and hang out and everything. Rest in peace, Lynn and Nicole. That's crazy. Anyway, the next day, 4th of July, Independence Day. Yay! We all get the idea. Uh, I'm just chilling out because, I mean, 4th of July is 4th of July. I never do anything crazy. But she texts me, hey, come swim with the fam. And I was like, who's the fam? Because she literally told me yesterday your parents weren't in town. And she's like, oh, my aunt and uncle and a bunch of my cousins. And I was like, okay, sure. And I show up and everybody's playing volleyball. And I'm just like, I don't know, come pick me up. I'm sitting in the car. I don't want to just like randomly walk up and, you know? And then I end up in the little volleyball game. I don't know any of these people besides like her brothers and one of her brother's friends. And I'm chilling, serving my part as a crucial member of the team. And the first time the ball comes my way, I'm so determined. I dive for the ball and I literally eat the grass. I was committed. I think the ball went out of bounds, but I was committed to winning. I was committed. But my team won. My team won, which was great. It was fantastic. And we kept doing some weird goofy hand thing. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember we kept doing it. I don't know, but we spent the day like swimming, eating snacks, all the 4th of July things. They brought the ducks in the pond, which was kind of funny. Anyway, then I went back home and we had a little fire, had hot dogs and hamburgers. Very true and American. We did a lot of both my sister's fairy and my sister's friend. We did a lot of the summer I turned pretty watching this summer. I mean, there's still like 3 episodes left right now. But the correct answer is Team Conrad. If you're not Team Conrad, you're wrong and you've probably got a problem because Team Conrad is the only answer, and the episodes have made me literally go insane. Like the other day I was over at her house watching and her mom was in the living room and the episode ended and we were literally like sitting on the floor with our jaws wide open. Mind you, we started the episode sitting on the couch perfectly like peaceful and content. But then we just, during the episode we're literally like beating the crap out of each other out of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening right now. The season is wild. I can't believe there's not going to be like after the last episode is done, like the show is done. Absolutely crazy. But I love the show. It's one of my favorite shows. Let's see. I don't know how many weeks later, me and Fairy and I, there we go, make it a little grammatically correct, I guess. We decided to I guess it was my idea, to go to this murder mystery dinner. I don't know, I found it online. It was in Fort Wayne. And pretty much, like, you go and eat dinner, and while you're eating dinner, like, there's this, like, murder mystery thing going on. I don't even really know how to describe it. But you, like, walk in. It was, like, in, like, a lobby room, meeting room of a hotel. But we showed up. We had to like make fake names for ourselves, and our names were really dumb. Compared to everything else, ours were really stupid, and I don't even remember what our names were. But then they had like seating assignments for everyone, and there was a bunch of like actors involved in the show, and you could take pictures with the props and everything that they had. There was like a little photo op outside. But we went in, we sat down. They had like salad and our dessert, which was like strawberry shortcake or something, sitting out. And, the people from our table, they just kept showing up and we got to talk to each other. And the two of us were easily the youngest people there, but I think out of everybody there, we had the most fun. Then they started the show per se, and it was so much fun. Like the hosts of the whole thing were hilarious, and I loved them, and all of the actors were great. I don't even really know what to say, but we all had these papers, so at like the end of the night or whatever, we'd all make our guesses on who we thought did it. But by the end of the show, I was so utterly stumped, I couldn't even submit a guess. And whoever like was the closest, because you had to say who you thought did it and your reasons why, whoever like won went home with a goodie bag, and somebody at our table ended up winning. Shout out table 3. But I think the prize was just like shot glasses and some other things, and we're not 21, so it was of no benefit to us. But it was still so much fun nonetheless. And that same day, well, before we went to this dinner, we went shopping. I mean, there weren't many crazy stories about us going shopping. All I know is that Fairy was looking for a pair of jorts. Cool. And we were like ready to like leave ish, and we walked past, I don't even know what store, and she's like, can we stop here real quick, real quick? And then she finds them, and she ends up buying them, and I'm like stressed because we're cutting it close, and I have no idea where we're gonna end up parking. Thank Jesus, when we pulled into the parking garage, there was a spot right there. And then we get out of the parking garage, and we have absolutely no idea where we're going. So we're literally just like quite literally running around the streets of Fort Wayne, just trying to find where we're supposed to go in a timely fashion. Because I know I'm extremely paranoid about being late. I'm definitely more paranoid than she is. But we get there on time. We're okay. But after the dinner was over, we went outside, took some fun little pictures. But we're out there for, I don't know, maybe like 5-10 minutes. And then we start hearing these really loud sounds. And obviously we start freaking out. But then we remember we're right next to Parkview Field, and there's a Tin Caps game going on. So they're literally just lighting fireworks. So then we like walked around the building and we watched the fireworks show, which was great. I got an ash in my eye, which is hilarious. But anyway, went back home. Great day that day. Another fun thing I did over the course of the summer was, I don't know, I just kept watching live shows. But me and my little sister went and saw Alice in Wonderland at our local civic theater. It was a youth show, so a bunch of our friends were in it, because I used to do shows there while I was still under 18 or whatever. It was a great show, and I was just trying to find a day where the both of us were available and there was like good seats or whatever. And the day we ended up going, I think like we ended up sitting in the front row. And it was an amazing show. I couldn't stop laughing. And I remember at the end of the show, like the choreographer, director, or whatever, they like knew I was there because they heard my laugh. Because I guess I have a very distinct laugh, which I believe. I've been told several times that I have a really funny, silly laugh. But it was fantastic. I got a couple of the actors to crack. Like, I'd make dead eye contact with them and just stare them down, and then I'd see their like face change. It is such a fun thing to do. They were all great. Again, amazing show. I also went to the Big Time Rush concert in Cincinnati. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. It was amazing. Arguably the best show I've ever been to. Not that I've been to very many. Oh, I love a good boy band. Breakdown of that day. Me and my friend drove our little hearts out. Well, I drove, but we got Canes. Canes is amazing. Nothing too crazy. We got there really early. It was really hot outside, but then we show up at the venue, and there's like a merch stand that's outside of the venue, and it only has like Big Time Rush's merch there. And I also loved the openers because it was the Big Time Rush in Real Life Worldwide tour. And the two openers were two of the people from the show, Stephen Kramer Glickman and Caitlin Tarver. And I'm a big fan of Caitlin's music. And I thought about getting like one of Caitlin's merch items. I ended up not getting it, but some point in my life I'll probably have Caitlin Tarver merch. I don't know. But it only had Big Time Rush merch, so I got the shirt that I wanted. And since we got there so early, our parking spot was really close to like the entrance of the venue. So we bought the merch and we walked back to my car and put it away because, free parking at the venue because it was at Riverbend Music Center. And then we had a while to wait, so then we just like sat in the car because it was really hot outside, and said friend gets overheated really easily. So we sat in there for a bit. And then we got back in line and we literally watched somebody pass out like 20 feet away from us, which was mildly alarming. But everybody there was like so cool, and the costumes and everything were amazing. We get in and we're like parched, of course, because who isn't parched? And then they had a little like water station. To be quite honest, I have no idea where that water came from, but I drank it and I'm still alive. So, and I'm still thirsty, so I'm going to take another sip of water. Sorry, guys. Okay, great. But we ended up finding our seats. The staff there was really nice and friendly. We were sitting in like the 10th row, which is I loved it so much. I asked one of the staff members to take a picture of the two of us, and they let us come up all the way to the barricade because the first 5 rows were like in front of a little barricade. So she let us like walk up there. She took a picture for us. It was fantastic. And then eventually the people who sat beside us showed up, and I was talking to them, asked them where they were from, because social anxiety just hates to see me coming, I guess. Then the show starts. Well, Steven comes on stage, and I love him. He was so much fun. He does a lot of like covers of music. It was great. And it was his guitarist's birthday, which was so much fun. So they brought out a cake and everything. I sang happy birthday, and I could swear on my life I made eye contact with him several times. Maybe that's just me gaslighting myself because, there's people literally all around me, but you can only hope. And then I think like the next day or like 2 days later, I saw this TikTok of a girl that was at the concert, and apparently one of the staff members was just like, here, take the cake and pass it out to everybody in the pit because the pit got to eat the cake. I thought that was crazy and I loved it. It was so funny. But his set was amazing. I loved it. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite things about it was they have obviously like a specific set that they play every single night. But he was like, we were just working on this song earlier. And he was like, would it be okay if we like sang this song for you guys? And I was like, yes, a nice little surprise for us. And he was like, it's a Harry Styles song. Is that okay? Yes! I love Harry Styles. So then they start playing it. Literally like 4 bars in, Matilda comes on. Matilda's probably like my favorite Harry Styles song. I love it. So I was like losing it. It's my favorite thing ever. I keep saying it's my favorite thing ever, and I really don't know what my favorite thing ever is. Anyway, Caitlin comes on, and a fun little thing about Caitlin, she wears these little like baby tees where she like puts iron-on letters on her shirts that say something different for every show. And her shirt for the Cincinnati show said Cincinnati, and like after her set, like she has this like Google form that you can like submit your name or whatever, and she gives away the shirt. I didn't win the shirt, but it was still so much fun. I loved her music. I was boogieing so hard, and I know for a fact the two of us made eye contact because I blew her a kiss and she blew one back. So I consider that a nice check off the box, which was amazing. Again, great. And then Big Time Rush, of course, came on stage. And I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. See, I could gaslight myself into thinking that I made eye contact with all four of them throughout the entire duration of the show, but that's probably not true. Overall, it was amazing. And it was the first show, I believe, I could be totally wrong, that when they went onto the B stage for a little acoustic section, they brought Caitlin back out to sing. What song was it? Count on You. Fantastic. I loved it. Of course, I couldn't see as well to the B stage, but the B stage has become a more popular thing for the people in the back to have a nice up close experience. But obviously, they still had them on the screens. Overall, I loved it. It was so high energy, and I brought plenty of confetti home. Definitely more than what was necessary, but I still had so much fun. Oh, it was so fun. I could talk about it forever. It was great. We didn't get to the parking lot. We didn't get out of the parking lot for a hot minute, though. I remember. Shoot, what was I going to say? Oh, favorite Big Time Rush song is We Are. Underrated song. It's my favorite. Definitely give it a listen. Highly recommend. Anyway, about like a week and a half later, me and my little sister went to the Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide tour. And dude, is that one so much fun too? I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Because not only do I love the Descendants and Zombies movies, because Disney Channel was my childhood, and those are like the movies. Um, the cast that toured was great. Like Freya Sky, Dara Renee, Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, Malachi Barton, MK Knight, um, Joshua Colley. I feel like I'm missing somebody. No, no, I'm not. If I am, I feel really bad. But the seven of them were phenomenal. I loved it. It was also in Cincinnati, in Heritage Bank Center. We got canes. OMG, when we pulled up to the canes, I kid you not, we had just parked in the parking lot, and there's these kids that were trying to sell us like the Little Trees car air fresheners. We hadn't even gotten out of the car. Of course, we said no because it just seemed weird. Because they were just riding around on their bikes, and I was like, huh? Plus, there was an air freshener in our car anyway, so we didn't need it. Then we go into the canes, order our food, and there's this lady who tries to ask me for bus money. I had to ask her like 3 times what she was saying because I couldn't understand it. And she was literally holding a tray of food in her hands. And she was like, somebody else paid for this for me. Do you guys have any bus money or whatever? I said no. We said no. I don't know. It just kind of made the whole experience of being in the canes a little weird. But we ate our food. It was great. And then we started our little like final stretch of the drive to Heritage Bank Center. And we're trying to, because there was like, they sent out an email about like where we're supposed to park. And they recommended like 3 different lots. And again, we wanted to get there when the doors opened because one, that gives us like better access to parking. So we tried to get to the closest one, and we did. But we were driving, and we couldn't turn into the parking lot because we would have had to turn left into the parking lot, and just for like traffic reasons, we couldn't. So I was like, "Oh, we'll just take the left. We'll just take a left at this next light. Find a way for us to turn around, and we'll be okay." Because we have time. It's no rush. But we turn left, and it takes us to a bridge that literally leads us into Kentucky. And I was like, oh, well, looks like we're going to Kentucky today. Nice little trip to Kentucky. Luckily, once we crossed the bridge, it was just a little roundabout. So we went all the way around and came back. And I was like, how was that for a 60-second trip to Kentucky for the day? It was great. Then we ended up parking. Real easy to find parking spot. But we were very adamant about backing into the parking spot because if you don't, then you're probably going to be sitting in that parking garage for a really long time. And shout out to the one car that patiently waited for me to back in, because I'm the last thing I want to do is scratch somebody else's car. But hey, I made my little sister pay for parking because I drove. But we eventually parked and we were walking over because it was literally just right across the street. But we had no idea where the doors were to this venue or whatever. So we were just kind of looking like bozos. And we definitely took the weirdest way to the doors or whatever. But we were at like a different set of doors and the line was like shorter. So we got in faster. So fantastic. We got in, and of course, like normal people, I can't remember whether I don't know. We made like we probably went to the restroom like 4 different times while we were there, but we went and found our seats. And for like a couple weeks prior, I'd seen people on TikTok being like, "Ask for an upgrade for your seats" or like something of the sort. And as I said a little bit ago, social anxiety hates to see me come in, and I of course wanted to do it. And she was just like, "Are you sure? Like this is a little weird." Absolutely. So we find our seats. We're chilling. We get a couple pictures while we're there throughout the entire night. Take pictures and videos at concerts, like a lot do, but obviously try to stay present in the moment. We went up to this one security guy, but we just referred to him as like the bald security guy because we had to make sure like we could find him. Because when we went and asked him, he said it's a little too early to tell because people are still coming in, but maybe, because it's just hard to tell. And we were like, okay, okay. So then we just referred to him as the bald security guy so we could find the same guy back and ask him again later. So then we just literally made laps around the arena because it's home of the Cincinnati Cyclones, because it's like a hockey thing, which was cool. So we literally just like walked in circles repeatedly, walked past several merch stands. We didn't buy anything, but that's okay. So many people were wearing the cutest costumes. I The energy in there was great because it was predominantly little kids and their parents, let's be honest. But don't let anybody tell you you're too old for something like that, cuz I had the time of my life. It was amazing. But then I kid you not, it was like, cuz the show started at 7. I swear on my life it was like quite literally like 6:59 going on 7. I walked up to this guy again and I was like, "Hey, what are we thinking?" He's like, "Well, there's still people filing in, but you guys can sit right here." And he was referencing, because we were up in like the middle of the upper bowl because we wanted the best seats that were like the cheapest ticket price, which we bought, obviously. In between the like lower bowl and upper bowl, there's this like walk strip or whatever, and then like there's a barricade so I guess nobody falls into the lower bowl. And then right behind said barricade are just some like folding chairs, like they're handicap accessible or whatever. And he said we could sit in those two chairs if we wanted. So we did. And it was honestly a really good thing because the amount of people that were sitting down was astronomical. I couldn't tell for sure about the people on the floor. I'm pretty sure the people on the floor were all standing because obviously if you're going to sit on the floor, you're like probably the most excited people there. But from what I could see, there were so many people sitting, which, I mean, granted, since it's a lot of parents and their kids, the parents aren't going to want to stand for like 2 hours. You know, the two of us were standing and singing and jumping and having the greatest time ever. Watching MK do a bunch of flips was great. Watching Freya and her little solos, and everybody loves Malachi, of course. And everybody had their own little fun moments, and it was phenomenal. It was great. I brought confetti home from that show too. I think it was maybe like one singular piece because obviously confetti didn't get all the way up to us, but I found a piece and I brought it home. It was amazing. Well, we made it back to the parking garage, and we were just getting ourselves like resituated in the car, like pulling up the GPS to get us home, reorganizing, refilling our water bottles because we brought like a massive chug jug of water because we didn't want to run out, because when you leave the concert, obviously you're dehydrated and need it. But we're just getting our ducks in a row because we also brought snacks, the whole 9 yards. And there was this one car that drove by, and there was little kids in the back seat, and they waved at us. Of course, I waved back. And then a couple cars later, there was another kid that was just staring at us, and I waved at them. They waved back. And then eventually we left, got out, drove home. Great night. I also went to another show. This wasn't like a professional show. Me and Ferry went to Looking Back, which is a original musical written by a girl that I actually did The Little Mermaid with several years ago. And the show was amazing. Because it made its because it's written and composed by Perry Webb, and it made its debut over in Boston because she goes to Berklee College of Music, and they put it on over there. And then she came back over here, and she put it on with a bunch of people from the area. Me and Ferry went and saw it. It was a great show. It was like nothing I've ever seen before. So I don't know if and when it's going to be performed again. If you ever have the chance to see it, go see it. It was mind blowing. Then, as summer's wrapping up, and as you heard us talk about last week, Hopeland moved out. A moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. Quite a big change. Still definitely working through all the emotions and getting used to it all. Hopeland, if you're watching, please come home. Please visit. It's literally been a freaking week. What? But I text and call every single day, so. I hang out with my cats, and I touch grass all the time, so summer's been pretty solid. Yesterday, I went and I hung out with Fairy and her mom and two of their family members, mostly because Fairy needed an outfit for a pageant that she's doing coming up. And we found one, and it was great, and it was super cute. Then we also went to Target, and I remember we went to leave the Target, and she was showing us all of the stuff that she bought. She was like, "Wait, I bought something else. Where is it?" So she went back into the Target, and then it left the four of us, me, Fairy's mom, and their two relatives, just standing out in the parking lot. Mind you, somebody else's panic alarm on their car would not stop going off, which was really funny. But I was just sitting on one of the red balls outside of the Target. It was a great time. We got Olive Garden too, which was a blast. I haven't had Olive Garden in forever. We got mozzarella sticks, and I took a bite out of one, and I obviously had to see the cheese pull. So I kept going, and and eventually my arm was all the way extended, and one of the other girls grabbed it and kept pulling on it, and it extended all the way to the other end of the table, and then it eventually broke, and I ate it. I got shrimp Alfredo, guys. It was pretty good. I normally get the chicken, but I was like, I'll try the shrimp. It was good. I might just stick to the chicken. Definitely was very full. Ate my fair share of breadsticks, I'll tell you that for sure. Overall, great night. Lots of fun little stories, lots of laughs, and of course, there's all the average things that people do all summer. The various holidays like Mother's Day and Father's Day, the 4th of July, all of that. Touch grass, work, little fun things that average people do. So I don't know. Let me know how your guys' summer went. I'm very intrigued. I didn't go on any big crazy vacations. I know sometime this football season anyway, my family's going to go to an Ohio State football game because that's where Hopeland goes to college. Woo! Go Bucks! Go Bucks! I have no idea which game we're going to, if I'm being quite honest. I'm very excited though, so I won't have to scream at the TV. I can actually scream at the field. Not that it's really contributing anything or it's going to really change the outcome of the game, but it'll still be fun. Also, speaking of like screaming and football and everything, Taylor Swift and her new album, The Life of the Show, the Life of a Showgirl. Okay, okay. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm excited. I'm excited. And the Sabrina Carpenter collab or whatever. Ooh, I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to hear it. But overall, it was a pretty good summer. Really good summer. Lots of change. Lots of change. Lots of things are happening. Lots of things are happening. I bet the biggest thing that happened this summer was this whole podcast thing becoming a thing. Like, well, that's a little weird. If you would have told like January me that this is something I'd actually be doing, she'd probably laugh at me now. Which, fair enough. Absolutely. But I guess that wraps up today's episode. I know the episodes that are just me tend to be a bit shorter because there's not an active dialogue going on, but something I've noticed since I started is I'm a lot less camera awkward because I don't really think I've ever been camera shy. I've just been camera awkward. But now I think I'm chilling for the most part because I used to have to cut out so much dead space because I'd be like, whoa, uh, yikes, what's going on? But I think I'm pretty solid, honestly. I'm still obviously probably gonna get less awkward as time goes on. Hopefully. Could you imagine? But I actually have no idea how long I've been talking for. But I hope you guys enjoyed this probably shorter episode of the Just for Giggles podcast. I hope you guys stick around for the next one. Thank you guys so much for being here. And cue the non existent outro.